Welcome to Bayanat, the heartbeat of tech in MENA. We bring you raw stories and sharp insights from the founders, investors, and leaders building the region's startup ecosystem. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into HAQQ, a company making some really audacious moves in the MENA legal sector. It's led by Antoine Kanan. And HAQQ is basically on a mission to completely digitize what people often call the trillion-dollar pen and paper industry.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I think for any founder, investor, or, tech professional listening, HAQQ's journey offers some pretty powerful strategic lessons, especially on tackling these massive, really entrenched markets.
What's truly compelling about HAQQ's vision, I think, is just the sheer scope of it. They aren't just building like another tool for lawyers. No, they're constructing an entire digital ecosystem for justice,
An ecosystem, right?
aiming to redefine how legal services are accessed and delivered. And maybe the most fascinating part, this huge ambition didn't start in some fancy boardroom. It started with a really personal aha moment that just uncovered this enormous underserved market.
Okay, that sounds like a classic startup origin story, but maybe on, well, a completely different scale.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that beginning. How did Antoine Kanan, just a college student in Beirut, right,
Right.
amidst the 2019 revolution, how did he even stumble onto this problem?
Well, it began with his first venture, the Lebanon Law Review. Initially, it was just, a platform for legal articles, pretty straightforward.
Okay.
But driven by the energy of that time, it quickly evolved into a research agency. Antoine mentioned they scaled from just 2 people to 100 people in only 12 months.
Wow, 100 people in a year.
In a year.
Yeah.
Offering media, research, event services, all with a strong digital side. They gained global attention surprisingly fast.
That's pretty remarkable growth, especially for a student-led thing. But where did the pivot come from? The pivot to full legal digitization, was there one moment that really clarified HAQQ's true mission?
Oh, absolutely. The real turning point wasn't some big strategic meeting. It was a phone call. A call from a woman in Alexandria. She needed legal help for a domestic abuse case. Antoine connected her with a local lawyer, which is great. But then the requests just kept coming. Within about 2 months, he had over 300 similar requests pouring in from people all over the world.
300.
Yeah, that was the signal. It just starkly highlighted this massive void.
Oh.
There was almost no accessible, trusted way to find legal help online. That was Antoine's big aha moment, realizing the legal sector was, as he famously put it, the world's last $1 trillion pen and paper industry.
So he saw the pain point directly. And HAQQ's response wasn't just let's build an app. It was much bigger, a total overhaul. How did they translate that huge vision into a practical product roadmap?
They've been very methodical about it, actually, step by step. So back in 2022, they launched the HAQQ Legal Directory. That was B2C, a lead gen portal.
Okay, building trust first.
Exactly. Strategic. Built trust, gathered an early beta group. Then 2023 came HAQQ eFirm. That's the full-featured cloud-based practice management system for law firms. Handles everything, client intake, billing, the works.
The core system.
The core system. Then this year, 2024, they've rolled out HAQQ eBar, a platform for bar associations, and the e-wallet for secure peer-to-peer payments.
Okay, expanding the ecosystem.
Right. And looking ahead to 2025, the big one is the HAQQ AI Digital Twin. That's a personalized AI assistant built right into eFirm.
What strikes me from that timeline is HAQQ isn't just building software tools in isolation. They're really constructing essential infrastructure.
Yeah.
It spans the whole legal world, clients, firms, even professional bodies, maybe governments down the line. How many practices are actually using HAQQ now?
Get this. Over 1,000 legal practices are already using HAQQ.
1,000.
Yeah, using it to consolidate and streamline their work. That really speaks to the need they're hitting and just how quickly people are adopting it.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, HAQQ's all-in-one product strategy, it seems to fly right in the face of conventional startup wisdom, doesn't it? Most advice is focus, niche down, solve one problem really well. Why did HAQQ take this riskier, arguably more capital-intensive path?
It is a fascinating deviation, you're right. And it comes down to their core belief. Law firms don't need another tool added to their fragmented stack. Salesforce here, Notion there, QuickBooks, Slack.
Tool fatigue.
Exactly. They believe firms need a single, unified solution designed specifically for their unique, often really complex workflows. Conventional wisdom says focus to minimize risk, save cash. But HAQQ realized that in this industry, this deeply entrenched one, a partial fix wouldn't cut it. It wouldn't replace the real existing system for many firms, which was still literally pen and paper.
And that clarity actually came after a failed first attempt, right?
Mhm.
Antoine mentioned they initially tried a lighter communication tool, but lawyers just weren't biting. What was the key insight from that setback?
That's precisely it. The light bulb moment was realizing law firms weren't looking to replace software they already had. They were replacing manual analog processes.
Mm.
So a lightweight tool wasn't enough to break those ingrained pen and paper habits. Anquan saw pretty quickly that partial digitization wasn't the answer. HAQQ needed to offer a complete end-to-end alternative to really capture and, transform this huge latent market.
So this end-to-end approach, it's definitely riskier up front, but you're saying it's also much more defensible in the long run. How does being the motherboard of the legal industry, as Antoine calls it, create a moat for Hawk?
Well, by aiming to be the operating system, not just like another app or feature, HAQQ embeds itself incredibly deeply into how a firm works.
Right, becomes core infrastructure.
Totally. They connect firms, clients, bar associations, maybe even governments eventually. This creates network effects. The more people use it, the more valuable it gets for everyone. And by handling the absolute core operations intake, billing, documents, they become indispensable. Switching costs get really high because a firm's whole operational DNA kind of gets built into HAQQ.
You can't easily rip it out.
Exactly. That deep integration, owning the data, the whole user journey, that creates a defensibility that's tough for single-point solutions to match.
Now, what really seems to set Hawk apart, maybe even more than the all-in-one strategy, is their focus on AI. Antoine says AI was their North Star from day one, not just jumping on the recent hype. How did they actually build for AI so early before it was, everywhere?
It was about deliberate architectural choices made way back. They knew legal work is fundamentally about structured information documents, contracts, case law, client details.
Makes sense.
So they built their core platform to be data-rich, highly organized from the start. They were anticipating that intelligent systems would eventually need clean, structured data to work well. It was like laying the plumbing for AI long before everyone else was even thinking about turning on the tap.
And that foresight, that early infrastructure work, is now paying off big time with their AI digital twin. What exactly is this? How does it go beyond just basic automation?
The AI digital twin is pretty cool. It's a personalized AI that actually learns a specific law firm's unique ways of working, its internal logic, even its writing style.
Wow.
Anquan describes it like this. It drafts like you, thinks like you, works like you. The goal isn't just to automate boring tasks. It's to genuinely enhance the legal team's judgment, speed things up, but with real precision.
Okay, give us an example.
The really powerful example they share is from their own legal team. They used their AI twin to draft an entire 18-page joint venture agreement from just a single prompt.
An 18-page agreement from one prompt.
Yeah, and get this. The counterparty reviewed it, approved it, and signed it
Yeah.
without a single edit.
No edits.
Yeah.
It's astonishing. That's not just efficiency, that's fundamentally changing the workflow.
Exactly. It's a massive reduction in legal friction.
And for you, the listener, this creates what they call a compounding advantage. So how does this digital fingerprint thing create long-term stickiness, make it hard for competitors?
Well, the more a firm uses HAQQ, the smarter and more tailored its AI twin gets. It's constantly learning from that firm's real-time data, building this unique, dynamic digital fingerprint.
So it becomes their AI.
Precisely. It's not some generic tool off the shelf. It becomes a custom-trained partner, deeply understanding that specific firm's way of operating, their clients, everything. The longer you use it, the better it gets for you.
Which means the AI isn't replacing lawyers.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It acts as a true force multiplier. It frees up legal professionals to focus on the high-value strategic stuff. And this, crucially, drives long-term retention. We're seeing firms sign 5, 7, even 10-year agreements with HAQQ.
10-year agreements. Okay, that's a huge signal for investors about how sticky this thing is.
Absolutely. Huge validation.
Which brings up a key question. Why hasn't anyone fully digitized this massive legal sector before? Given how obvious the need seems now, what were the barriers that HAQQ is now managing to break through?
Antoine has a pretty blunt take on it. He says, most innovators don't like lawyers, and most lawyers don't like innovation.
Huh. Okay, fair enough.
Historically, yeah, the legal industry's slow pace, the heavy regulation, the high stakes, they definitely scared off a lot of founders. Legal tech used to be seen as kind of niche, maybe boring.
Yeah, not the sexiest sector.
Right. But AI is changing that whole equation. And Anquan points to Harvey, the AI-first legal startup. They hit a $5 billion valuation in just 2 years, way faster than Clio, a big name in legal tech before them.
Wow, okay.
That kind of speed shows how AI has completely reframed the opportunity. It's making legal tech exciting, attracting serious talent and capital. And this rising tide, in a way, it helps HAQQ too. It creates awareness of the problem they're solving.
So HAWK actually welcomes this new wave of AI legal startups because it sort of validates the market.
Yeah, they see it as creating problem awareness. Firms start seeing what AI can do.
But what's HAWK's edge then against these newer, maybe more narrowly focused AI tools popping up everywhere?
Antoine's view is that while these new players might offer neat tools for specific tasks, like contract review or legal search firms, ultimately invest long-term, with companies offering real products, serious security, and long-term thinking.
Trust is key.
Trust is absolutely the bottom line in law. HAWQ's defensibility comes from owning that whole user journey, remember? Connecting clients to firms, integrating with bar associations, maybe governments later. They're positioning themselves as the foundational platform, not just a feature.
And that deep integration, that platform play, it's clearly working. Let's talk results. How's HAWK doing financially?
The numbers are pretty compelling. HAWQ has doubled revenue every single quarter since launch.
Doubled revenue every quarter.
Every quarter. Plus, they're lean, they're profitable, and they have amazing unit economics. They generate something like $10 in revenue for every $1 they spend on customer acquisition.
10 to 1. That's incredible efficiency.
It really is.
Doubling revenue quarterly requires serious growth engine.
What's Antoine's philosophy on customer acquisition and sales? How are they achieving that kind of impact? And how hands-on is he still?
He has this philosophy to do something different every quarter for acquisition and sales. He gets that what works when you're small doesn't work when you're bigger, so the go-to-market has to constantly evolve.
Adaptability.
Totally. And yeah, he's incredibly hands-on. He personally made the first 500 sales, like actually calling leads, messaging them, even showing up at their offices sometimes.
Wow. Founder-led sales at its core.
Exactly. It shows that deep founder involvement, especially early on, building trust, figuring out product market fit. It's a powerful lesson.
And that kind of dedication must influence the company culture. How does that translate into their hiring, especially attracting the kind of talent you need for such a big mission?
Antoine boils their hiring down to the 3 C's: culture, challenge, and compensation. First, culture. They want ownership, accountability. Everyone feels like a stakeholder.
That makes sense. Second, challenge. Each role has to offer a significant challenge. People want to work on hard, meaningful problems, right? And third, compensation. Top talent deserves top pay. Simple as that. Attract the best, keep them committed.
Sounds like a strong formula.
And it works. About 30% of HAWQ's team are actually ex-founders and entrepreneurs themselves. Former CEOs, CTOs, CMOs. It's not just a senior team. It's, as Antoine calls it, a senior battle-tested crew. They bring strategy and execution.
Okay, looking ahead then. It sounds like HAWK is gearing up for a really transformative year. What's actually on the horizon? What's next?
They're in the middle of a major hiring spree. Tech, product, sales, marketing, prepping for 2 big new product launches.
Oh, what are they?
First, an agentic AI native mobile app for law firms. Agentic meaning it can proactively do tasks for you, not just react to prompts.
Okay, proactive AI on mobile.
Yeah. And second, an e-wallet for seamless peer-to-peer payments within that legal ecosystem they're building.
Got it. Some more infrastructure, more integration.
Exactly. And the goal, they're targeting over 10x revenue scaling in the next 12 months, aiming for $15 million plus in ARR.
15 million ARR, huge jump.
Huge jump, fueled by these new products, transaction fees, those long-term deals we talked about. And yes, they are actively looking towards a Series E fundraise next year.
So it's really clear HAWK isn't just about growth metrics, though those are impressive. It's about fundamentally changing how justice is delivered digitally across the whole MENA region. They're building that base layer for an industry that's been, well, pretty resistant to change, and doing it with some serious foresight. So what does this all mean for you listening? Maybe take a moment to consider HAWK's really audacious bet here: full stack digitization, AI deeply woven in from the start. What other big old pen and paper industries are out there in your region or your sector? Maybe healthcare, real estate, government services. Are they right for this kind of comprehensive operating system level transformation?
And importantly, what unique challenges would that kind of deep dive really involve? It's not just the tech, right? It's navigating regulations, changing long-held habits, and fundamentally building that deep, deep trust.
Lots to think about there. For more stories like this, subscribe to Bayanat's newsletter and stay updated on the latest in MENA's tech and startup ecosystem.